Hello, good morning, or afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. Welcome to the video. It is late morning here, creeping up on afternoon, and I've been paying bills. Woohoo! And uh, getting ready to go down and see my lovely daughter and my lovely granddaughter, and I'm very excited about that. But we have work to do first. So, we were discussing editing, types of editing. And we had discussed content editing, and now we're going to move on to line editing. Line editing, and I was digging around trying to find some fun things to show you guys. Line editing is kind of a little bit of a lost art. It's gotten kind of folded into other types of editing, but very important. It's very meticulous, and it can really improve your story. I wanted to show you this. This is what kind of we would start out looking at. These are 4 different types of editing. We had already touched on content and development editing, and now we're talking about line editing. And what they have here is line editing is sentence structure and wording. Checks for repetitive or confusing word combinations. And that's really a very minor way of putting it mildly. I had found this article here with this. It has this great quote: "A great teacher is a gift. A great line editor is a miracle." What line editing does is literally goes through a line editor goes through line by line of your story, every line, and looks at how it can be improved, trimmed, tightened, and basically there's a mention here. This editor was working with Joseph Heller on Catch-22, and Heller, and there was this one particular section that comes later in the book that the line editor thought was fantastic, and was trying to get Heller to get to that quicker. So Heller ended up cutting about 50 or 60 pages from the opening, according to this, just to get there more quickly. So line editing is pretty meticulous, tricky work. It's not something done lightly or easily. I'm trying to find the other article here. Bear with me for a second here. I think this is it, maybe. Yes. What is line editing and how can it fix your book? And basically, jumping through a lot of things here. Your line editor goes through the book sentence by sentence or line by line to upgrade the prose, always keeping craft in mind. A line edit ensures that your book's content is consistent while its language is creative and concise. It works on clarity and style. It's also known as stylistic editing. One thing that I find in my own work that often is tricky for me is I will get stuck on a certain word and I won't notice it. And then my editors will. And it's actually very helpful to me when they do that, because everyone has you have your lexicon, your vocabulary that you use, and you may use when I was writing Queen of Swords, I had all of these fight scenes, and there's only so many ways you can describe throwing a punch or a kick or a strike or a blow. And when you're writing fairly long fight scenes, I had to really kind of stretch my repertoire to try to not sound redundant, which gets boring. And in your middle of a dynamic fight scene, you don't want boredom. So I was looking at terms from various martial arts, including like fencing and things like that, to try to describe different moves and things like that. And that's something that a line editor would kind of jump on and spot and help you with. So And again, this is something, some people just have a knack for it. Going through a work that's not yours, line by line, and just trying to tighten every single line, just like it's literally like milking it. You're going to get every last drop of kind of tension and tautness that you can out of the prose. And that's a beautiful thing. When that happens, it really does just amazingly enhance your work. I was about to say tighten again, but I don't want to use tighten again. So that's line editing pretty much in a nutshell. A lot of editors now kind of fold that in with the overall editing process. But there was a period in time where that was a specific process in editing, is you had someone who was your line editor, and they basically just went through everything. And it wasn't just a matter of looking at the grammar or the sentence structure. It was also a matter of kind of like your voice. Line editing is where your voice can really either be enhanced or diminished. And a lot of it has to do on your prose and your writing, and also your ability and openness to the editor, which is an ongoing struggle. When I'm going to do a video just on trusting your editor and what do you do when you're having conflicts with your editor, because I've had those over the years, and some of them have worked out amazingly. A few have not worked out so great. So I want to talk to you about that, because that is a real thing that can happen. But for the sake of this series that we're doing right now, your line editor is wanting to really tighten up your voice and give you a continuity of voice, because sometimes it's difficult when you're writing a long piece. It may be that one part, one section you wrote within, like, I don't know, 6 weeks. Then maybe something happened and it was a month or two before you picked it back up again. And sometimes you can lose that voice, or the voice can kind of get diminished by other things. And the line editor is trying to always look for that thread of your voice, your theme, your style. And a good line editor is looking to like grab onto that and like walk through it. It's like a rope in a blizzard. You're trying to make sure you reach your destination. So line editing is extremely important, and also incredibly meticulous, and a bit more of an art form than a craft, because you have to be able to pick up your writer's voice and be its advocate. And some folks are better at that than others. And some people have a stronger literary voice than others. Some people may not exactly know how they want to project their story. And maybe it's been my experience that a good line editor can help you with that. They can help you kind of look and see, and suddenly you see things in your narrative that were extraneous that you really didn't need. And those things are blocking your voice, and they're diminishing your voice. That being said, if you get too minimalist, it can also not feel exactly organic or feel like you. So it is a style of editing that, like I said, often gets kind of folded in with other parts. I don't know how many people actually do straight old school line editing anymore, but I do think it is worthy of pointing out, because it is still done. It may just be, like I said, folded into kind of other parts of the other aspects of the process. Maybe when someone's reading for content, they're also line editing, which if you want to go old school, an old school editor would say you do one, then you do the other. But sometimes it's difficult to be, I know this because I know a lot of editors, and some folks, it's hard for them to read just for pleasure or for content. They're constantly scanning. They're constantly looking for things that might be wrong, or things they can improve, or things they can tweak. And that's a mark of a good editor. So line editing is something that I would encourage in your editors, your beta readers, if you can get those people to put their mind in that place, and if they have a mind for that, that might be a great way to really enhance what you're working on. Tell me your thoughts on this in the comments below the video. Subscribe if you have not already. That helps me out a lot. Click on the bell, and that will give you access to, you'll get a notification whenever I put out something new. And if you find these videos to be something of value to you, and you think they might be something of value to other people, I would really encourage you to share them if you could. Again, that helps me out. Check out my Patreon page. I'll put the link below, and I will put the link for the articles in here also. I hope everyone is having a fantastic day, and I will see you on the next video. Take care.